It's that time of the year once again, where we're reaching the end of the year and people are doing one of two things. Looking back on the year that has passed, and this year specifically, the entire decade, or looking forward to the future and what's about to happen. And well, this video is not looking forward to, not looking back, to the past decade or the past year, but in fact looking to predict what Nintendo might do in 2020. With that said, I'm the Legend of the S. Let's go down to it, shall we? And predict 2020. Well, first things first, let's look back at how my predictions fared for 2019, and let's just say nothing really was correct. The only things I got correct were the time launch for Pokemon, which anyone could have seen it coming, and basically the release dates for when the Smash DLC was gonna come. Now, sure, I give myself a 1 to 2 month window period by saying that DLC would come in February, April or May, June, July, September, October, and November, December, which basically gave me all the second half of the year. But I'm gonna still pat myself on the back because I did say every 2 months, and I kind of was right, even though I kind of missed the boat on one of the months by saying February, and you got June, and somebody just honked outside. What are you gonna do about it? Well, I can't do anything. But anyway, I got a lot of things wrong. Looking back on it, it's kind of funny. First things first, I was wrong in predicting Animal Crossing. Well, actually, I was right in predicting Animal Crossing. I predicted Animal Crossing for March. I just got the year wrong. I predicted Fire Emblem Three Houses for April, which probably was the original release date until the delay happened. I very wrongly predicted for July Retro Studios game, and that Metroid Prime 4 would be coming out in October. Boy oh boy, was I wrong. Then again, we didn't know anything about the bad state of the game, as it were. Then, when it came to third parties, I got a lot of things wrong and only got really one port correct. Of all the ports that I predicted, the only thing that came true was Overwatch. So, I guess that's something. So, now with the time of looking forward to 2020, let's actually talk about what things could happen. So first, let's talk about directs, when general directs might happen, and I'm gonna stick to my opinion that 2020's first quarter is gonna be massive for Nintendo. Why? Well, because we know kind of when things are gonna start happening, because we know PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X will have big presentations in the first half of the year, most likely. I very much, and everybody very much doubts that we're not going to see those systems, well, we already saw the Series X, or know anything about the games prior to E3. It seems very unlikely that they're going to dump all the information at E3. So the first half of the year might be stacked for Nintendo to try and also counterbalance a little bit and stay in the spotlight for the year. So I'm expecting general Nintendo Directs in January, March, E3, and September. Now, also, you need to remember that 2020 will be marking the 3rd anniversary of the Switch, so a lot of the games that they came out early in 2017, the teams now are releasing games for it this year. For example, the Splatoon 2 team, for example, is launching, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Splatoon 2 team, Animal Crossing. And also, speaking of Animal Crossing, I expect an Animal Crossing specific Nintendo Direct in February. But when it comes to other games, well, it depends on if the game needs it or not. Then for DLCs and for stuff and updates on upcoming games, first things first, I predict the DLC for Smash Bros. will once again happen at a 2-month rate, beginning in January. We don't know what the DLC is going to be, how much the DLC is going to be, for how long it's going to be, but it could happen. So right now, I'm kind of predicting the Smash DLC to happen in the months of January, March, May, July, September, and November. We don't know how much they're gonna happen. We don't know DLC is gonna happen, which I just predict that. It's weird. We might even get in at a faster rate or a slow rate, or a slow rate with more characters. It's weird. We don't know yet. Maybe we'll find out in early next year. Then I'm expecting Tetris 29 to keep on getting themes for upcoming games. That's the easiest prediction for somebody to make. Then Pokemon, I expect raids, regular raids or unreleased Pokemon that are in the data, and Gigantamax Pokemon to can keep on going. Plus, I think we're gonna see some unknown Pokemons. Why? Or unknown Pokemons as in they're not in the code right now, because I think that maybe Game Freak finally realized that maybe having everything already day one when the game comes out having all the information there. It's bad because people will data mine and find everything, including mythical Pokemon. So I'm expecting at least some of those, and even Gigantamax forms to appear. I'm expecting, for example, Mewtwo that is in the data to receive a Gigantamax form. It's just a prediction because as of right now we have 2 Gigantamax Pokemon that have been found in the code but have yet to be released, so that's why I'm expecting that. Then for Animal Crossing, I'm expecting new events and items. I don't really play Animal Crossing, so I don't know much about it, so I'm just gonna keep at it. Then for Mario Maker 2, I expect a big update every quarter. We didn't get that in 2019, to be fair, but I think that because of the problems that they faced in trying to get the Play with Friends update, I think that delayed a little bit the major update, and the game came out in June, so technically speaking we did get an update per quarter. So yeah, that's about it for the updates. Now, before we get into the predictions of games for third-party games that might appear on the Switch and the launch itself, let me just say what games or things I expect to be no-shows in 2020 in a release capacity, and it doesn't include much. I only have like 3 games here, and those games are Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, Metroid Prime 4, or a new or a remake of Pokemon. Now, Prime 4 is easy to understand why. I don't think it will be here. Prime Trilogy, I think, we'll maybe see it, but only when they're ready to showcase the game again, and I think that whenever we get an extra for Prime 4, we'll see the trilogy being announced, and I think Trilogy might just be a 2021 game, maybe early 2021, maybe January 2021, I don't know. And then for the Pokemon, why I think there's a no-show of Pokemon. First, I don't think there's a reason to, because if it's a third version of a Pokemon game like normally do, Sword and Shield doesn't really lend itself to it. The box legendaries make themselves are a part of the story, but unlike previously, they are a part of the story. Both of them are part of your story, unlike in the past where basically they weren't. And when they are, the third legendary is also a part of it, unlike in the past. In the past you have Necrozma and Kyurem and Giratina, the Pokemon that existed in the world but then really didn't have any consequences to the story, while the third legendary of Sword and Shield is. So, and you're in, and even better, he already has a form in this game, so Sword and Shield I don't think lends itself too well to a third version. Plus, I don't think a remake would be well done for this year already. Plus the thing is, 2020, Nintendo kinda needed a Pokemon game at the end of the year, with 2019 having no major games on the level of Smash Bros, Mario, and Pokemon at the end of the year, and with the way of Animal Crossing even more, so I could see it having to be in like, we need a game there, and Pokemon having to come out next year. I don't think that will happen. And then let's go over to the predictions for big third-party games that are coming for 2020. I'm expecting the following. I'm expecting Nier to come to the Switch. I believe the producer of the game recently teased more Nier news in the near future, which could just be Nier 3, but it could also be Nier released on the Switch. Then I'm expecting Monster Hunter, which is weird. It hasn't happened yet. We can speculate. But I think now that Iceborne is out of the way, we might finally see an announcement, maybe in the January Nintendo Direct, or the March Nintendo Direct, depending on how they're going to do things, because the January Nintendo Direct might be packed. I also can see Kingdom Hearts being announced again, the collection. I predicted this last year, but now that Kingdom Hearts 3 is out, I could see this being announced in the March Nintendo Direct after DLC has been released. And finally, the big one that I'm expecting coming to the Nintendo Switch of big third-party games, I'm even expecting it to open the March or the January Direct, will be Halo coming to Switch. I predicted this for the Game Awards and I was pretty wrong about it, but I could see this happening in the near future. And with that out of the way, let's start to predict the months themselves. So first, obviously we have Tokyo Mirage Sessions for January, and I already predicted the Smash DLC. Then, for February, I'm expecting a game a la Tetris 99 to come to the Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know what game it will be or what shape it will take, but I'm expecting it to happen in February because it was one of the months that I had empty. Then, for March, we already know what's coming. It will be Animal Crossing. I also predicted the Smash DLC, and will be the quarter. This will be the March. March will be the month of the next quarter 1, to receive the Mario Maker 2 update. And I could legit just see this happening because, again, 3rd anniversary of the Switch, with the other systems being talked about, March could be gigantic for Nintendo, and like having the 6th, the 13th, and the 20th with news cycles around Mario Maker, Smash Bros, and Animal Crossing, 3 of Nintendo's biggest IPs, would be something I would expect Nintendo to really want. Then for April, another month where I didn't have much, or I didn't know exactly what to put on, because a lot of the months were filled pretty nicely, I put Mario appearing in one of 2 scenarios. I could see a Mario sports game like Strikers, Sluggers, and Golf showing up, since we already have Mario Tennis, but at the same time I could see Mario coming in with Paper Mario. Now, you might say that why would Paper Mario come out this year in 2020, since 2019 already received Fire Emblem Three Houses from Intelligent Systems? Isn't that a bit too much? Well, the fact that Animal Crossing Intelligent Systems wasn't really the main work power behind Three Houses, and Koei Tecmo puts Paper Mario for a good spot for 2020. And I put it here. It could be replaced and could swap out with the August game, and when we get to the August game we'll talk about it. But yeah, it could also come in here, something that will also be in July. So basically July and August could be the games in July and August that I have could also come in here, but I think this would fit rather nicely, especially given what the July game is, but we'll get to it in a little bit. Then for May, I'm expecting either a new IP from the Mario Kart / ARMS team. Now, a lot of people have a very bad opinion on ARMS, or about its sales data. ARMS sold over 2 million units worldwide after it launched in June 2017. And a lot of people think that wasn't good enough, and that Nintendo might see that as a failure because it came from the Mario Kart team. Now here's the thing. The game did what it was supposed to do. It sold systems, it sold 2 million, and it came out at a pretty tight launch window, where it was sandwiched between Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Splatoon 2. So it wasn't ever going to be the game that held on for too long, given the fact that 2 juggernauts launched it. We was sandwiched between the 2 juggernauts, I mean. It still sold 2 million in a year, which is far better than a lot of third-party fighting games that have established themselves. For example, Tekken sold 3.7 million after 2.5 years on the market on 3 systems, and Street Fighter on 2 systems is at 4 million, I think? I think it's below 4 million, but again, Street Fighter 5, big IPs, and ARMS still kept up with both of them, basically, as time went on. And honestly, a lot of people think that the Mario Kart team is working on another Mario Kart. I think that would be a waste of talent and a waste of time and resources. Why? Well, looking at what's happening, looking at the sales data, we see that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe every single quarter sells fantastically. It sells incredibly well. The game at this point in time, most likely by the time we get the next financial reports in about a month and a half, it will probably be over 20 million just the Switch version alone, which is an insane number for the game to have without basically being bundled. Yes, there's been bundles here and there, but very minimum comparatively to a lot of other games, or comparatively to Mario Kart Wii. And so a lot of people expecting a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a Mario Kart 8 9, I mean, on the Switch, and then a Mario Kart 9 Deluxe on the next system. Kind of dumb, because we have to look at both systems. You're not looking at Mario Kart 9 coming out on the failure of the Switch. You're looking at Mario Kart 9 selling on the juggernaut that is the Switch. So expecting most people probably will buy it. So I think a distinction between the two, leaving Mario Kart 9 to the next system instead of blowing your load on the Switch and making a new IP, is the better option. That's what I'm expecting, and this is what I hope. Then for June, I have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, mostly because it's the 10th anniversary. It just fits nicely. So yeah, I've not much to say. Then for July, I'm expecting a Wii U port. I think Pikmin 3 and Wonderful 101 are the ones that fit better, and the reason why I don't expect this to be the game that swaps, for example, with the April game of Mario, Paper Mario, or the Mario Sports game, is because it's a Wii U port, and we already have one in January, so and even if it's 3 months apart, it's still kind of close to each other, so I put a nice barrier of 6 months between the ports to make it happen. Then for August, I have one game and one game only, which is Metroid 2D Metroid. I don't expect Metroid to return in the 3D spectrum yet. I don't think they're gonna do a spin-off, and after Samus Returns and the fact that teased a brand new game, Samus Returns came out in 2017, funnily enough, in September 2017, so August 2020 feels about right for when the game could come out, assuming they already had the plans for a next Metroid, be it a brand new Metroid, 2D Metroid, or a remake of an older game. Then for September, I'm not expecting this to be the September game, but I needed a little bit of a buffer between these two, and I have Breath of the Wild 2, another month that could be huge for Nintendo, with Mario Maker 2 getting an update and a Smash update. Breath of the Wild 2 I think would fit nicely. It'll be a big game. I put it here because I want it as soon as possible, and I have another game for November, which I'm expecting it will be the November title, and by me saying already that Breath of the Wild 2 is here, you'll kind of see what it is. We just have to wait and see, I guess. I hope it is in September, because September puts it very much in the 3 years in development, basically, which fits rather nicely for this. And yeah, not much to say. Then for October, I'm expecting a couple of things to happen. One, it could be a third-party month, so Nintendo just allows third parties to launch games there and they don't have a game themselves. It could be a brand new third-party exclusive game. Think No More Heroes, which I forgot to put in this list, and Bravely Default 2, which could happen in any month of the year, and No More Heroes 3 could eventually be delayed. Or it could be the month of Bayonetta 3, which could also happen. I doubt it. We haven't seen anything at all from Bayonetta, and basically began development around the time of announcement. And we just had they just talked about Babylon Falls in the State of Play, and we just had Astral Chain come out this year. So maybe next year or maybe early 2021 could be when we see Bayonetta 3. Then for November, the big holiday title, in my opinion, will be Odyssey 2. Just makes sense. 3 years after the original Odyssey, the Odyssey is the best selling 3D Mario game of all time. It just feels right. And like I said, I don't think Nintendo needs Pokemon for this year. If Odyssey 2 is available, that pushes Pokemon a little bit, and it just fits, in my opinion. And for the finale of the year, outside of a Mario Maker 2 update, very much like this year, I could see a Pokemon expansion DLC or a Pokemon spin-off. And by Pokemon expansion, I mean like I said, there's no canonical reason there's nothing in the Pokemon Sword and Shield that makes you think that the game needs a third version. So I could see them expanding a little bit. There's areas, the map is still, there's areas where you cannot go or you don't actually traverse. They could include islands, a smaller region to the side, maybe. I mean, I know I'm asking for too much, but hey, what are you gonna do? I'm a greedy fuck. But not only just a smaller island, basically just being like a bigger or a second wild area, but with more raids and more things to do. Hopefully, maybe even adding more towns and seeing like other gyms, because we know in the game they confirm there's more gyms than the ones we see and travel to because of the minor and major leagues, which would be interesting. Maybe even including you as the champion, and like you do stuff on the other island region, and like you have new challengers when you come back, maybe somebody that came from a different region to fight you. But anyway, those will be my predictions for 2020, a year that right now is shaping up to be really good, even if all my predictions come wrong outside of the ones that are locks, by the fact that Nintendo already announced the release dates. But anyway, tell me what you think in the comment sections of what you think will happen in 2020 on each month, when you think the Rex will happen. How regular do you think Smash Bros. And Mario Maker will get updates? Do you think Pokemon will have more Pokemon than the ones that have been data mined, and more Gigantamax forms that have been data mined? What's the big third party you think is coming in 20. But anyway, I've been the Legend of the S. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.